That is going to dictate whether it's healthy or not. If how much mobility you have here is going to dictate whether a chest up cue will work for you or not. So to start things off, I want to give you guys some time to admire my artwork here and the perfect depiction of the spinal column. Just kidding, it's pretty atrocious, but it's actually much more curved than this. I didn't feel like redrawing it, and I don't have the budget for an artist, so I'm my own artist. But today I want to cover cueing when we do like our main lifts, like deadlift, but especially back squat. So if you notice, there's a lot of different ways that people do high bar back squats. Some do it with a much more chest up approach and some don't. And for some people, that chest up approach looks really good. And for some people, it really doesn't. And sometimes it's a hard thing for us to put our finger on exactly why one looks good and one doesn't. We just kind of know one looks right and one doesn't. So I also want to address, is the chest up cue good or not, or appropriate? When I was younger, I would say yes, because that's how I was taught. And it felt good for me to do a chest up approach, even though it might not have been the best way for me to squat at the time. I wasn't taught how to brace properly. I was taught to take a big breath and stick my chest way up in the air, maybe even look towards the ceiling when I squatted, because that seemed safe, right? And then later on, I would say no, because I was taught to brace differently. But as I've evolved as a trainer, as we all should, the real answer and the correct answer is maybe. Maybe a chest up cue is appropriate for some people. So we're going to talk about who it's appropriate for and the advantages a tall chest offers when you do things like front squat, back squat, things like that. It all comes down to the amount of mobility we have in this area of the spine. Now, a lot of people like to call it thoracic spine mobility, but that's a little bit of a misnomer. In case you don't know, the spine is divided into 4 basic components. So we have, your sacroiliac or sacrum down here, the lumbar region, thoracic, and the cervical region. Those are demarcated by where the pelvis, the ribs, start and where the ribs finish. So T1 correlates with the first rib and T12 correlates with the bottom rib. Okay, it doesn't really have anything to do with the mobility or what's going on the posterior aspect or the back of the spine. So when we say thoracic spine mobility, what we're really talking about is mobility starting with this curve here and ending about with this curve here. So we're talking about starting about C5 all the way down to T6. And the chest up cue, if it's appropriate or not, really depends on the amount of mobility an athlete has right there. Now you can say, okay, we'll just develop more mobility in that area. And that's great. Some people just naturally, either through genetics or through injuries, don't have that ability to develop that mobility. And other people, they just don't want to take the time, but they still want to be able to do their big lifts, right? So the first cue for bracing should always be, ribs in, breathe in, ribs in, push air out into your back pocket, and around, right? That's a good bracing cue for everybody. Now, if you can do that and keep your ribs drawn in, and then because of mobility in this area, also lift your chest up, that's a pretty good thing. Because what happens is this mobility here allows this here, your lumbar region and the bottom of your thoracic spine, to stay mostly flat, which keeps the pressure on these discs mostly uniform. That is the key component here. What is going on here? Not so much what is happening here. Obviously, we don't want a lot of lordosis or curve here when we lift, but the amount of curve here isn't the primary focus, it's here. If you don't have this mobility and you try to lift your chest, this can't move. Hopefully you can see with my marker over a marker. This can't move, so that range of motion has to occur somewhere. It's not gonna occur here because this is already kyphotic there. It's this right here. This is gonna arch here. So trying to arch this when you don't have that range of motion is gonna result there. And that's what you see when somebody has a really high chest and it just doesn't look right or it looks really painful. This is hyperextended, which is bad enough on these discs, but then it also anteriorly tilts this pelvis here. So that is gonna dictate whether it's healthy or not. If how much mobility you have here is gonna dictate whether a chest up cue will work for you or not. Some of the advantages of a chest up cue let's say it's a front squat variation, or even if it's a high bar back squat and you're looking at somebody from the side. So this is the end of the barbell here. If you lift this chest up here, what it's gonna do in effect, it's gonna move this back a little bit, which is gonna move that closer to your midline and make you a little bit stronger and more stable, because it's gonna enable you to keep more weight over your midfoot. So chest up or not isn't necessarily bad. Just make sure the bracing starts from cueing the pelvis and the ribs. And then after that, if they have great thoracic spine mobility and even scapular mobility, the ability to retract their shoulder blades and lock those lats into place, then a chest up cue isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can even be a very good thing and a necessary thing for people like Olympic weightlifters. So stop looking so much at the chest and focus on this. And if they can lift their chest and keep this flat, it's totally fine. But hope that helped a little bit. I'm Judd Lienhard, always be an athlete.